about my movie
Oh, cool.
with Steve and Chad.
Oh, as a matter of fact, after we do this, let's. I'm gonna look at the calendar for open micers, and I think I'll see which Monday you want to be on.
I talked with Jacob and
Okay.
we agreed on the 9th.
Okay, that works.
So 2 weeks from tonight.
Coolio, that works. Awesome. I mean, we meant to do
Yeah.
that before. It's just everything's happening
What?
so fast.
Yeah, the end of the year went by really quick, and then I was gone for a week. Holidays were busy.
Yeah. Let me delete that.
Okay. Pull up the chat. Make sure that's muted.
This is
I've got
this is
our list.
304, right? I do have the correct number.
Correct.
We're getting
Yep.
up to the point where I can't remember what numbers we're at anymore.
Yeah.
Every time I do this stuff, I have to like scroll through uh our feed to see what number we're on.
Yeah, I have to do the same sometimes too. Like when I'm trying to think of stuff to review, I'm like, have I already talked about this? And I'll just have to go back to the archives.
Yeah.
Which I'm on deck for next week, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And then after that, I think I'm gonna do. I just bought today a game that I loved back. Well, I'll tell you on the show. I'll tell you on the
Okay.
show.
Okay.
It's relevant because like it's everything's coming up Terminator lately. So
Okay.
yeah. All right. What's up, Rampage, in the chat room?
Rampage.
But I got all the tabs. I think all the tabs that I need open.
Yep, I've got our list. I've got the Google Docs pulled up. I've got the Discord pulled up. So I'm all set when you are, my friend.
Ooh, the Hyperstone heist. That's gonna be a fun show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been playing that game like all day today.
I almost bought the Ninja Turtles PS2 game. I've never played it. It's the one that's very cartoony looking, like stylized cartoony. I don't remember it. I have the other game that was one based off the CGI movie that came out like 2004. I haven't played yet.
The cartoonish one, it might be the one based off of the early 2000s
I
cartoon.
think it is.
Was it because there was one for the GameCube, I think it was called Battle Nexus,
I don't remember that one. I don't
but they
remember it.
made a few in the same style as the cartoon, so that's probably the one you're talking about.
I do know I'm probably gonna play that other one here soon, the one that's based off the movie. Because it's a PS2, I figure it's
Hmm.
it's retro enough to do a review of it.
What's cool is in Hyperstone Heist, one of the bosses is Tatsu from the movies,
Oh, that's cool.
and I was disappointed because he didn't go.
Yeah. Need a lozenge?
Oh man,
I want to go watch that movie now.
it's so good.
Let me go ahead and get this going.
I'm gonna get
Pause.
the director of that movie on my show.
Dude, that would
If
be
I have
awesome.
to beg, I will do it.
Dude, I got somebody on deck for this show, and I'll go ahead and if the YouTube, Twitch listeners and YouTube, this might be it's something that's coming soon. But I've been talking to an artist on Twitter who I don't want to say who it is just in case it doesn't work out. But he did artwork for like back in the 80s and 90s for like Nintendo games, Super Nintendo games. He did like box artwork for those
Okay,
games, and I asked him to be on the show, and he says he's interested. We just need to get through the holidays, and then we'll figure out a time to come on the show.
well, that's cool.
Tyler's in the chat
That'll be
room
fun.
as well. What's up, Tyler?
Hey, Tyler.
But I'm ready to get this show on the road. If you are,
Yep, I'm all set.
let's do it. Here we go. Three, two, one. Greetings, programs, and it is our final episode of 2022. My name is Jason Robbins,
And my name is Derek Diamond.
and we have the official fact checker himself in the chat room right now, Mr. Real Big Wall. What's he doing here?
I know we got to be on our best behavior
he's,
tonight.
he's going to be fact checking me in real time instead of yelling at me on Twitter days later. Well, I hope
It does give me a reason to look forward to Twitter on
Yeah.
like Wednesdays and Thursdays. What is Wally gonna say?
I know every time we get done with a show, I'm like, what did I get wrong that he's going to yell at me about tomorrow? There was something last week I actually wanted to do a correct. Oh yeah, it was we were talking about the Addams family, and I said Douglas Adams instead of Charles Adams. And in my defense, I had just read Douglas Adams was on my brain because I have just read the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy like 2 months ago for the first time, actually. And then I went back and rewatched that movie, which is not that great. The book's so much better.
Yeah, I haven't heard really any good things about the movie, so
Yeah, it's not that
I
good.
just skipped it.
But how was your Christmas? What all did you get? Get anything good?
It was good. It was pretty low key for the most part. Just did family stuff. Did Christmas with my family Friday, and then Christmas with Samantha's family on Sunday. Pretty good, pretty low key for the most part. I did get the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Cowabunga collection for Christmas, so I've been playing that quite a bit. I'll actually be next week reviewing the Hyperstone Heist, which was originally for the Genesis, but was part of that collection. I'm gonna go through some others to have dabbled into the original NES game a little bit. Obviously, played Turtles in Time. But yeah, that was pretty much to the extent of my Christmas. We kept it pretty low key this year, which
Yeah.
I think was nice because work was really busy over the last month.
Oh, yeah.
We went up to Tennessee with her family for a week. Got back last Thursday, then had Christmas Friday, then I had to work part of Saturday, then had Christmas Sunday. So I've done little to nothing today.
I don't blame you. Look, he's going
How about
after
you?
me already in the chat room. He says events from 2 months ago affect your memory. They do when the creator of the Addams Family happened. I haven't looked at an Addams Family cartoon in years. That was like 60 years ago. Charles Addams made Addams Family. So yes, Douglas Adams is way fresher in the memory than Charles Adams. I'm sorry.
And here we go.
Christmas.
That was your Christmas.
It was good. Basically just got some money, and I got the Terminator Sarah Connor Chronicles on DVD. I got a Darth Vader was a cast iron skillet.
That's cool.
I'm not even going to use it. I'm just going to hang it on the wall.
That'll make good decor, though.
Yeah, it's nice. It's really heavy too.
That's awesome, though. That's really cool.
I'm
That's some
not
good stuff.
paying attention to the chat room now because he's going after me. Still. He says, yes, but you more recently played Fester's Quest. Checkmate. Okay, you win. You win. You win. Merry Christmas.
I did see you watch Die Hard on VHS.
Yes,
for
I
Christmas
did.
Eve.
I cracked open the old VHS, the Die Hard VHS set the other night, and pretty much live tweeted while I was watching Die Hard on VHS. And God, that is the most perfect action movie ever made, and one of the best Christmas movies of all time. And it is a Christmas movie. I don't care what anybody says.
It's in my top 5, definitely. I'm in that camp too. Like, people make the argument, but I think Christmas is involved enough in the plot to justify it being called a Christmas movie.
But tell me that movie is not the most perfectly edited movie. Up there with like Terminator 2 and movies like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'd still put T2 as my number 1 as far as just like from top to bottom, all qualities, like all the boxes you have to check to make a good action movie. But I would put Die Hard in the category because I put T2 in its own category. Like, I think it's that perfect. But in the category beneath it, I would put Die Hard.
Oh yeah. And in watching Die Hard this time around, you start to. I mean, I've always noticed the people that are in the movie. Like, that movie's just a who's who of '80s movie characters. Like, you got Vigo the Carpathian is in there. You've got Severus Snape, as the lead terrorist, and the great Alan Rickman, And then you've got the guy that I swear he has to be Huey Lewis's like evil twin brother that mans the front desk when they take over the building. Tell me he's not Huey Lewis, related to Huey Lewis somewhere.
I've never thought of that, but now I'm never going to be able to unsee it.
And then one of the bad guys too is Nuclear Man from Superman 4.
That movie doesn't exist in my mind, so
Oh, it does. It exists. It's out there. It happened.
unfortunately, but it did happen.
Actually, Rampage brings up I need to review the Die Hard game, and I planned on doing that for Christmas, but everything just kind of got shuffled around. So I might do it either sometime soon or I might save it for next Christmas. But I definitely want to live stream it sometime soon because I know that game is like epically hard, and I've never really played it before.
You should stream it during the holidays. I think that'd be great.
I think I might do that. And I do want to try out the Die Hard trilogy too. I think that came out on the original PlayStation or PlayStation 2 era. It was the Die Hard trilogy, and I think it's like a first person shooter or something like that. I never played it, but I'm kind of
didn't
interested.
either.
But I do want to play the original NES game. I have it, and I want to play it, so I might do that soon.
Yeah, you should.
But tonight, to round out this year, whether you think it's a good year or a bad year, I think this whole year was kind of meh. It was could have been better. There's a lot of. I'm just glad this year's over. I'm ready to hit 2023 running and see what happens. But and Joey M has just joined us in the chat room. Full chat room
Joey!
Tonight, everybody. And
Nice.
we decided to top the year off as usual with a top 5 list, and we asked you, the listeners, to send us your top 5 lists of the games. The top 5 games we played in 2022. And with the caveat that this did not have to be games that were released this year, just games that you played the most this year. And so we'll start off as usual. Me and Derek will do ours first, and then we will go on to your list. And I always like to let Derek go first with these top 5 lists. So start us off with your honorable mentions first.
So funny enough, I do not have honorable mentions. I think this might be the first time that I don't have any. I just, for some reason, was able to narrow it down to a true top 5.
Yeah.
My number 5 is a game that I recently reviewed on the show, but I had a lot of fun going back and playing. Beyond just for the sake of reviewing it, I've been going back and playing through it pretty consistently, and that is Wario Land 3 for the Game Boy Color.
Oh yeah.
Very, very underrated platformer. I think, all the Wario Land games are really good. This is my personal favorite. There are cool elements that are specific to the Wario franchise that you don't get in Mario, but it still feels like a Mario game in its own way. But the fact that you're playing as Wario, you're in a cool world, you have all these cool abilities, there's good variety in each level. There's good replayability because you have to hit different objectives through each level. You have to backtrack a lot once you get certain abilities. So that was my number 5. It was a really, really fun game to go back and play. One that just barely beat it out is my number 4, and that is Gunstar Heroes, which is a fun futuristic style run and gun game for the Genesis that I also reviewed earlier this year on the show. I vaguely remember this game as a kid, but I was much more of a Nintendo fan than I was of the Genesis. Went back and played it, had a lot of fun. And we've talked about beat 'em ups a lot, but we don't talk about running guns all that much. But this was a lot of fun to play for the first time. Another one that I played beyond just for the sake of reviewing the show. I found myself, even after the review was over, going back and playing it.
I might have to do that too, because I just realized we don't do a whole lot of running guns on this show.
Yeah, we should make that a goal for 2023. Find some good running guns to play. My number 3 is a game that I got into quite heavily during the peak of COVID, and have found myself over the last couple of months going back and playing, and that is Fall Guys. Originally played it for the PlayStation 4. been playing it on the Switch now for the most part. It's one of those games that you can just lose hours of time by playing it. And I'm not the most competitive person in the world, but I get pretty competitive with Fall Guys, especially with trolls online that like to stay at the finish line and just try and keep people from crossing it. I get so mad when that happens. But if you've never played Fall Guys, look it up. It's
Every
an addictively fun game.
every time I hear somebody mention Fall Guys, I immediately in my head the theme song to the Fall Guy pops in my head. Like, I'm
Yeah,
the unknown stuntman, makes Eastwood look so fine.
that's great. So let's see. Moving on to my number two. I was going to put Sonic Mania just to troll Rampage, but I'm not going to do that, even though I do like Sonic Mania a lot and I will defend that game.
Uh-huh.
My number two is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge, which I'm sure both you and I loved that game. Huge fan of the Ninja Turtles franchise.
Mm-hmm.
Turtles in Time is one of my favorite video games of all time. So when this game was announced, I immediately knew I was going to get it. And this was, to me, like a modern version of Turtles in Time with extra characters. The level layouts are similar. I love that it looks just like the old 80s cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
It's a perfect successor to those like Ninja Turtles arcade games, like the original, like Turtles in Time. I put it in that same category. It is that good. And it was another game that I couldn't put down.
Oh yeah, that's definitely on my list too.
But my number one, to no one's surprise, is Sonic Frontiers. I was not expecting this because I've been pessimistic about this game because when I found out that they were essentially going to give Sonic the Breath of the Wild treatment, like there's no way this is going to work. It's probably going to suck. But I went in with an open mind, and it does get a bit boring at times because you have to do so much exploring. I think it works. I think putting Sonic in that environment and the way they did it, and it's not a perfect game because there are glitches that need to be fixed if they do like a sequel to this or if they just do a different installment, but keep a lot of these elements. The story is excellent. I like that there's a lot of references to the older Sonic games. So all the characters are portrayed as being older and more mature than we've seen them in the past. And I think that's really cool progression.
Mm.
Like there's actually a good story arc with all the side characters that you have to rescue throughout the game. And Sonic even sounds older, which I think is really cool. So I very much enjoyed Sonic Frontiers. I've been doing a second playthrough. I feel like something's going on in the chat that I need to look at.
Rampage. He says, "Sir, I don't care how good your hair looks. Sonic Frontiers."
I mean,
yeah.
I I apologize for nothing, but I appreciate the compliments about the hair, sir.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sonic Frontiers is my number one.
Did you have any honorable mentions for the year or no?
I did not. No, I was able to narrow this down pretty easily.
Yeah, my honorable mentions are there are two on here that are late entries. Of course, there's a game that I just got for the PS4 called Terminator Resistance, a game that came out a few years ago. Didn't get great reviews, but I'm really enjoying it as a Terminator fan and a fan of those original movies. I'm about halfway through it at this point. They said it takes about 9 to 10 hours to defeat it, and I'm about 5 hours in, so I'm really enjoying it. So that goes on my honorable mention. And of course, Splatoon 3, which I just got a couple of weeks ago, and I love the game. And the reason it's just on my honorable mentions is because I've just been playing the multiplayer. I haven't really done much of the single player or the story mode, so that stays right there on the honorable mention list. And then, of course, another honorable mention is Gems of War, a game. It's a free game on the Switch, and it's basically just Puzzle Quest. And I've played it for years now. It's a freemium game, but I've never paid a single penny in that game to play it. There's so much content in it. They just dropped the new Underworld map not too long ago, so there's so much to do in that game. So if you love Puzzle Quest, go try Gems of War. And another one on my honorable mentions was the a surprise for me how good I like this, how much I like this game was Robo Warrior for the NES that I reviewed a few weeks ago. That game just was so good, and I really wish they would do an updated version of it. And speaking of, actually, I need to go back to the Terminator game because I was telling you before, and they brought it up in the chat room just now. I just bought Terminator Dawn of Fate today for the PS2. I originally played it on my original Xbox and loved that game. I'm going to play it again on the PS2, and I'm going to review it sometime soon. That game, and everything's just coming up Terminator the last couple of days for me.
Well, it came up recently that there might be a new movie in development.
I hope so. I love Terminator movies. I mean, they've had some hits and misses here. I mean, there's a couple that I don't really like all that much, but for the most part, you give me more Terminator stuff.
I personally liked Dark Fate. I didn't love it, but I mean, it was better than some of the other ones they've done.
I even like Salvation. I thought Salvation was a great movie. It suffers from weird editing and the fact that they tried so hard to make Sam Worthington a star, and he's just not. He just doesn't have the charisma to be a star.
No, and I liked the idea of that movie. Like I would have done it a little differently, but I enjoyed seeing a movie entirely set in the future war.
And Rampage, I agree as well. Christian Bale was not a good fit as John Connor in that movie. He probably would have been a better fit as the Sam Worthington character than actual John Connor. So
I agree with that.
That's my opinion about that movie. It's still watchable though. I mean, it's got what's his name that died a few years ago, who was Chekhov in the new Star Trek movies.
I know who you're talking about. I can't remember his name.
Anton something.
Is it Yelnich or something like that?
Something like that. Anton something. And he was in that movie as young Kyle Reese.
Anton Yelchin.
Yelchin, that's it. I knew it was something like it was a Y something. But yeah, he's really good in that, and there's good stuff to like about that movie. If you're a Terminator fan, I would say go back and give that movie another shot. But here is my actual list for the top games I played of 2022. At number 5, we have The Last of Us Remaster that I played on the PS4 not too long ago. That game is so good. I cannot wait for that TV show to come out, and I'm really looking forward to playing part 2. And have you seen the trailer for the new show coming out on HBO Max?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm really excited about it. It looks really good.
It looks really good. I hope they don't ding it off the pipe, because this is, oh man, that story was something to be.
It has the potential to be really, really good. We'll just see how well they execute it. But the trailers look good though.
Number 4, and this is going to be a surprise to everyone that I would put this on a top game I played list, but Final Fantasy VII Remake lands on my list, because I tell you what, that remake is very good and worth playing. And I highly recommend, if you've never played a Final Fantasy game, that seems to be the one to play, is the Final Fantasy VII Remake, because it's really good, it's enjoyable. It's a nice beefy game. Took about 20 hours or so to get through it, and I highly enjoyed it. At number 3, SteamWorld Dig 2. I love the SteamWorld games so much. Have you ever played any of the SteamWorld games?
I have not.
You need to get them on the Switch tonight. When we get off the show, go on your Switch and get the SteamWorld. Just get the first one, and then you'll be addicted from then on out.
That's very dangerous, because I have an addictive personality when it comes to games.
It's a game mechanic that just keeps you just going, and I can't describe it in a way that makes any sense, because you dig for gems, and you make these, you go to these maps, and you dig these holes underground, and you fight bosses, and just go check it out, please. If you never played a SteamWorld Dig game, they're so addicting. At number 2, of course, we already talked about Shredder's Revenge. Love the Ninja Turtles. Love that game. I mean, give me all the Ninja Turtles from that original, cartoon series, and I'm in 100%.
My only gripe about the game is I wish it was a little longer.
Me too. That's my only gripe with the game. I wish it was twice as long as it is. Because it
Agreed.
only took like 2 hours to beat it. Like I bought it and I beat it in like 2 hours. I'm like, well, that was fast. And at my number one game that I played this year, which I played so much of it that I burnt myself out on it, and I haven't played it in a couple of months. I haven't played it, but I will soon again to jump back into it. Loop Hero. I got it for the Switch. You can get it on Steam. It is one of those games that just one more turn, one more go around the loop. Let me just, oh man, let me build this, build up my my little camp here. Let me go do this stuff. Oh, all right, just one more loop around. It's such an addicting gameplay mechanic. And if you've never played it, just give it a shot.
Yeah, and I got into that game too after you reviewed it. I went and downloaded it, and I found myself just like, okay, just play it a little longer. I'll do one more lap.
Uh-huh.
It's fun. No, I can understand why it would be your number one. It is a fun game.
And then you go around and you're like, can I make it one more loop around before I die and lose all my, do I risk it? Do I go one more loop? And if I die, I lose half my stuff. Do I keep going? Ugh, that game. And I just had to get away from it for a little while. It's so good.
I was like that with Smash Brothers. I was playing so much of it that I had to just put it away.
But that ends me and Derek and I's list, however the grammatically correct way to say that. But right now we're going to do our Patreon shout outs before we go into your lists for this year.
Yes. As always, we'd like to shout out our awesome patrons over at patreon.com/nerdcaveretro. We want to shout out John West, Daniel Salmon, Tyler Watson, Axblade07, Armez Jackson, Carlos Longoria, aka I Am the Rampage, Staff Sergeant Sketch, Gus and Penny, Matthew Salmon, Joey Image, and Donna Diamond. Thank you all so much. Mama Diamond, yes. Thank you all for your continued contributions and keeping the lights on for us here at the podcast. And we did want to say, we know the holidays, it's still technically the holidays. So we did lose a few patrons. So you got to get us back up to the $50 level if you want us to do the fun commentary tracks like we've done for Batman the Animated Series, the real Ghostbusters full-length movies like Christmas Vacation, which I watched a few days before Christmas and had a lot of fun doing that. Clue, Transformers the movie, not the Michael Bay ones, the good one,
Yeah.
the animated one. Our catalog is near endless. So if you want us to keep doing those commentary tracks, get us back up to that $50 level, which you can do so at patreon.com/nerdcaveretro. And for new patrons, be sure to send us your social media, whether it's Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, so we can give you a proper shout out.
And first up, I think we'll begin with the Discord submissions,
Okay.
because the very first one we got when we announced this 2 weeks ago, Mr. Joey Image himself sent in the very first top 5 favorite games he's played in 2022. And he says, in no order, of course.
We know what his number one is.
Yeah, well, we'll start with his honorable mentions. He has Broforce, that's an epic run and gun game. If you're looking for a run and gun game, it's so over the top and ridiculous. You just have to experience. It's a game that needs to be experienced.
Yeah, that's what I've heard too. I know I've heard you talk about this game as well.
Oh, you've never played it? I thought you played
Broforce.
Not. That's okay. When we're done with the show tonight, you're gonna go. You're gonna get SteamWorld Dig, and you're gonna get Broforce. That's what you're gonna get.
And I've still got to get Days Gone.
Yeah, and Joey says it's free. You can play Broforce for free.
Oh, even better.
Yeah.
Then I'll definitely get it.
Up next is Splitgate. I'm not sure what that is. Lost Ark, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen. And now, for his actual top 5 list, in no particular order, Resident Evil Village, another Resident Evil game I still need to play. I watched a playthrough, but I've never actually played the game yet. The PS5 version of The Last of Us Part 1. That's I probably would play that game again if I had a PS5. That game is so awesome. The newest World of Warcraft expansion, WoW Dragonflight, WWE 2K22, and of course, in his number one slot is Days Gone, of course.
In all caps.
In all caps, Days Gone.
That's a good list. I haven't played 2K22. I actually haven't played a WWE game in a few years.
I
But
haven't either.
yeah, I don't think I've played one since it's probably been near a decade. I think the last one I played was 2013.
The last wrestling game I played was SmackDown for the PS2. I don't remember what year that was.
Those were fun.
Well, you can
I
make
should
you can make your own wrestlers in that game, and it was awesome.
Yeah, that's what me and my friends used to do. We used to just create each other and
Yeah.
do what friends do and beat the crap out of each
Yeah,
other on
me
the
and
game.
Wally had we had our own characters, and we were a tag team in that game. It was awesome.
What would your guys' tag team name be called?
I don't remember. Maybe he's in the chat room. Maybe he remembers what our team name was. Probably like I think it might have been the Party Pack of Neck Bones. I think it was.
I like that. Great band name too.
Uh,
See, next up we've got our Discord manager, Mr. Bethany Fox. Number 5, Ghost Runner. I like this game, but it's really hard and almost requires you to be perfect on timing and inputs. I had fun playing it. I found myself getting worse at those types of games as I get older. Number 4, Tiny Tina's Wonderland. I had fun with this. It's Borderlands on a D&D board and well worth picking up. Number 3 is Stray. It's a really good, fun game where you play as a cat in a world ruled by robots. I've never played that game, but I remember it was pretty big for a little while.
I want to play it
on social media.
It's
yeah,
on
me
sale.
too.
It's on sale right now. They have a huge sale going on the PS store. If you're interested in getting Stray.
Okay. Number 2 is Disneyland Dreamlight Valley. This is a great game if you love Disney, and it's a mix of Animal Crossing and Stardew Valley. It's worth a look into and has a decent story. I might have to look into that.
Yeah.
Because I like Stardew Valley. I've never played Animal Crossing, but I'm sure I would like it. And his number 1 is Splatoon 3. What else can I say that I haven't already? This game is my most favorite game of the year, and it's so much fun, especially with friends, and there's heaps to do. There's PvP normal and ranked, as well as PvE and a story mode, well worth picking up. Which I still need to play it. I'm planning to do that sometime this week.
Yeah, I need to start actually playing the story mode because I just been playing nothing but PvP, and that game is so fun. It just, man, it's one of those games like I put in the Discord the other night. I think I lost 6 games in a row the other night, and one of them was the most heartbreaking loss I've ever had because they do it by percentage. If you've never played the game, you go through the map, and whoever can paint the most of the map wins the match. And we lost by 0.01%.
Oh,
I should have screenshotted it. We lost by a 1/10 of a percentage point, and I wanted to scream when that happened.
I might have a broken switch if I were in that position.
It almost happened. It was so close.
Oh, that's frustrating.
But coming up next, we have Westshare on the Discord. And let's see. He says, I'm just going to start at the top. He says, 1 Castlevania Symphony of the Night. The graphics, music, and gameplay on this is awesome. The Dracula Halloween tone is amazing. Of course, I might review that this year for Halloween. Symphony of the Night is so good. Number 2, I actually almost bought this at this for PS2. Bully. The game is kind of a breath of fresh air after playing a GTA game. It feels like you're playing out a teenage comedy, which oddly works. Gameplay is awkward, but still fun. I played Bully on the, I think it was original Xbox, and that game it's like GTA, but you're in a boys' prep school, and you're just pulling pranks and all kind of stuff. It's so fun.
Yeah, I've
Um,
been wanting to play it. I remember it coming out back in the day, and it looked like a lot of fun. I just never got around to it.
you should. I think you should definitely go pick up a copy of it and check it out because it really is. I mean, it's basically just GTA but in a school, and you're just causing mayhem is what you're doing.
That sounds amazing.
Number three, Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. Yes. If it wasn't for the cartoon cell shading, this would probably be the best Zelda. The fighting gameplay is amazing, and the temples aren't game breaking hard. Sorry, Majora's Mask, lol. Honestly, the cell shading doesn't bother me in that game. I mean, I haven't played it in a while, but I don't think that the cell shading ever really bothered me that much. It doesn't take away from the enjoyment of the game.
No, and it's different. Like a lot of people didn't like that game strictly for that reason, which I'm a Wind Waker defender, so I'm not going to say anything bad about the graphics. I do agree with him 100% that the fighting mechanics are very good, and that was where Zelda kind of took a step forward in its development as far as the controls go.
Yeah.
And still one of my favorite stories in Zelda.
It's so good. That game is it's one of the best Zelda games there is, period.
Mm-hmm.
And Joey said Splitgate is an online multiplayer, sort of like Halo multiplayer meets Overwatch. It's so much fun and super fast paced, and he thinks it's free too on Steam. So if you're interested in that, go check it out. And he says, spoiler alert, Days Gone will probably be on his list for 2023 also. I wouldn't not doubt it one bit.
I would be disappointed if it wasn't.
Yeah, you should just pin a post for in our top 5 submission for next year, and it'll already be there for you, waiting for you. And at number 4, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Shredder's Revenge. This game is Turtles in Time DLC, but that's exactly what I wanted. Fighting with April seemed long overdue, plus it's great multiplayer. Yes, I love being able to play the other characters as well. That's another great addition to that game.
Yeah, I played through the game a couple of different times, and one of them was with Casey Jones,
Mm-hmm.
and that was really fun.
And at number 5, he says Sonic and Knuckles. I play this game every couple of years because I love the graphics. The sand level is amazing. Plus, Knuckles flying seems so badass at the time.
Yeah, Sonic and Knuckles is good. One of my gripes with it is how short it is, but we talked about that on the Sonic 3 and Knuckles episode, but it doesn't take away from it being a good game though. I like all the classic 2D Sonic games, and Sonic and Knuckles is no exception to that.
They're just something special about those games, especially the more they went on. Sonic 2 being better than, I mean, Sonic 1's a great game, but Sonic 2 was better than 1. Sonic 3 or Sonic and Knuckles is just like those games just kept getting better as they went on.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Next up, we have Donner Party of 5. His number 5 is Green Hell, hard as nails survival game set in the Amazon.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, it does sound cool. I like the title.
It's one of my favorite Misfits songs.
Yeah. Number 4, The Outer Worlds. If Fallout New Vegas was in space, that actually sounds really interesting. Number 3, Loop Hero. Jay knows why. If you don't, that game is the best version of crack.
See, Outer Worlds almost went on my list, but I stopped playing it a couple hours in, and I need to get back to it. I really like the aesthetic of that game. It's got that sort of 1940s, that it's really weird. It's like it's futuristic, set in the future, but it's got like a 1940s vibe to it. It's really cool.
His number 2 is Ni no Kuni, such a great little underrated RPG. And his number 1 is Smash Brothers Ultimate, getting close to 1,000 hours total playtime. Holy crap. Nothing will top the time I put into it.
Wow.
I can understand, though, because you can get sucked into that game because there's just so much to do. There's so many characters to play as, so much stuff to unlock. That game can be played for an infinite amount of time.
I think the only game I've ever put close to 1,000 hours into has got to be World of Warcraft. I mean, at least probably at least dozens of, not dozens, but a couple of hundred hours, maybe 3, 4, 500 tops, maybe more. I'm not sure, but I put a lot of time into that game. But 1,000 hours, man, that's a lot.
Yeah, the closest I've gotten I put a couple of 100 hours into Breath of the Wild as well as Skyrim.
Yeah.
That's the closest I've gotten to it.
And up next, we have I Am the Rampage. At number
Rampage.
5, he says Double Dragon Neon. Yes, I still play this game once in a while. Nothing wrong with that. I still need to play that because I liked what I saw when I watched him stream it a couple of times. Number 4, Mega Man X, at least once or twice a year. Nothing wrong with that. Number 3, Fortnite. Him and Wally. Man, they are
Yep.
some Fortnite champions right there.
They love them some Fortnite.
Number 2, Rising Hell. Not sure what that is. And number 1, TMNT Shredder's Revenge. This should be on everyone's list. And I agree. That game is awesome.
Mm-hmm. One of the best games of the year. Let's see. Now we'll switch over to our Google Doc.
Mm-hmm.
See, we've got Armez Jackson up next. I really attacked the backlog this year and got some pretty cool games off the list. I need to do that for 2023. Number 5, Street Fighter Legacy Cabinet from Arcade 1-Up. I know it's not a single game, but it was an awesome deal with a bunch of my favorite Capcom arcade games. Nothing wrong with including a compilation. Number 4, a game that I loved, Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion for the Nintendo Switch. Hilarious story and super fun.
I think they're doing a sequel to that.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I can't wait to play it. This was one, I think that was the quickest turnaround from like discussion to review because the game came out and we talked about it on the show and I said I was going to play it.
Yeah.
And I got sucked into it and I reviewed it the next week.
Rampage says Rising Hell is that roguelike game that he sent us the video of and said, this should be Wolverine. I remember that.
Okay,
yes.
yeah. I
That
gotcha.
game looked cool.
Yeah. Number 3, Red Dead Redemption 2 for the PS4. I can never get tired of this one. Number 2, Astral Chain for the Nintendo Switch. Beautiful environments and fluid gameplay. This game was completely awesome. I haven't played that one yet. And then number 1, Pokemon Scarlet for the Nintendo Switch. Hey, it's an almost open world Pokemon.
I still have yet to play any Pokemon game. That might have to change this year since I changed my tune on Final Fantasy games.
I'm telling you, we should do a month where like you recommend 2 games for me and I recommend 2 games for you that neither of us have ever played.
Okay. Well, you know, one of mine's at least going to be a Resident Evil game probably for you.
Mm-hmm.
I think probably Biohazard might be a good one for you to play because that game creeped me out when I played it.
I'll just have to play it with all the lights off.
And we have here Mr. Tyler Watson, who is the fact checker to the fact checker.
Fact checker.
And it says top games for 2022. Here we go. My PS4 was dead this year, so expect a lot of things played on Nintendo consoles. And there is nothing wrong with that. Let's see. At number 5, he says Fallout 3 for the PS3. I finally finished the main story this year, as well as most of the DLC. Always a fun time, despite the glitches. And you know what? Fallout is one of those series that I've tried so hard many different times to play different Fallout games, and I can just never get into them.
Same with me. I've got friends who swear by those games, and I've tried, but it's just not my thing. I'm not knocking it for that reason, but there's just some games that like they don't click with me like
Yeah.
they do other people.
It seems like it would be something I would really be into because I love like post-apocalyptic stuff. Like I love the new Terminator game that I'm playing. Anything post-apocalyptic is just, it's my playground. But for some reason, those Fallout games just do not do anything for me. And I don't like that the way you feel floaty when you move around. Like it just, I don't know, just some weird stuff going on with that game that just, it just doesn't click with me.
Yeah.
At number 4, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe for the Switch. The DLC tracks released so far this year, with more coming in 2023, reinvigorated the game, had a great time with each one of them. I need to go crank that game up again and get those DLC tracks because it just completely got away from me, those DLC
Same.
tracks.
I'm reminded of it every now and then, but I just keep forgetting about them.
Because I love Mario Kart 8. It's one of the best games for the Switch. And just it's like soon as we're done here tonight, I'll be like, oh, I need to go get those DLC tracks. As soon as we're done here, it'll be like it just falls out of my head.
Yep, same.
Let's see, West of Loathing for the Switch. A fun and weird little Western-themed RPG where everything is in black and white and all the characters are stick figures. You fight off hordes of hell cows. That's what I'm naming my next band, Hell Cows.
Hell cows.
Stick your hand around in dirty spittoons for special items. Gross. Encounter a troop of demon clowns and interact with alien technology. Sounds like my high school. It's fun and very funny and absolutely worth a buy.
See, I'll start a band called Demon Clowns, and then we can do shows together.
Yeah, Hell Cows with special guest demon clowns. I would go see that show just off the names alone.
That's awesome.
Let's see. At number 2, he has Radiant Historia, Perfect Chronology, 3DS. Did you ever play this? I've never heard of this.
I have not. It sounds educational.
Says a re-release of a DS game with some new content and artwork. This RPG is about time travel and split timelines. So the story will come to a halt in one timeline until you learn a skill in the other that is needed to advance. If you're looking for a spiritual successor to Chrono Trigger, this is a good one. I'd recommend picking it up from the eShop before it shuts down in a couple of months because the physical cart is very expensive now. This sounds like a lot to keep up with in one game.
I did really like Chrono Trigger, though.
Yeah, I did too. I need to go back and finish it. I've got a number of hours into that game. I actually have a ROM of it that I've been playing the last year or so, and we need to finish that game so we can do a dual review of it.
Yeah, well, we did one for episode 200, but we could always do like a revisited where like we actually finish it, and then
we did that.
Yep.
See, that's what happens when you get to over 300 episodes. You forget what you've done.
But I couldn't tell you what we did for 201, though.
Me neither. And at his number 1 Pokemon for the Switch, I'm including both Pokemon Legends Arceus and Pokemon Scarlet Violet in this. Scarlet/Violet in this. As a diehard Pokemon fan, of course, these would be top of the list. Legends gave a breath of fresh air that I feel the series needed with its battle and catching mechanics. I was saddened to learn that they wouldn't return for Scarlet/Violet. But what are you going to do? Speaking of the newest entries, they've gotten a lot of press about their glitches and bugs. And while all that is true, it's definitely your mileage may vary situation. My friend had 3 crashes in the first week of the game, whereas I was close to 100 hours in before I got a crash. My point is, if you're interested in picking it up, don't let those glitch and bug reports deter you. That sounds awful. Like if you're 100 hours into a game and it crashes on you.
That's one of the reasons why I didn't pick it up.
I mean, I hope their save files stay not corrupted by that happening.
Yeah, I'm curious about that myself. But I mean, the game looks like a lot of fun. You know, I've been out of the Pokemon games for a while now, but I'm glad they're finally stepping into the open world aspect because Pokemon is perfect for it.
Yeah.
I've said this before. If they remade the original games as an open world, day one purchase in a heartbeat. And I would love every moment of it because I love the original games. I even really like Gold and Silver, but it just got too much to keep up with.
He said in the chat room, he said, just had to reload his last save. He lost about 30 minutes of progress.
Oh, that's not bad.
It's not bad, but that still hurts, though, when you're playing a game.
Yeah,
and
it could be worse, though.
You get about an hour or two, and then you just like lose all that progress, and you're like, oh, my God, I'm not doing this.
That'd be so frustrating.
It's kind of what happened with my playthrough of the Resident Evil Code Veronica a couple of weeks ago. Like I got so far in that game, and I had 2 different save files, and I'm to a point in the game where I can't cannot progress any further because I can't survive long enough to get anywhere to get like a health spray or anything. And my previous save from a different file is like 3 hours before that. I'm like, not going to do it. I'm not going to go back and redo all that stuff again. It's just not happening.
It's not worth it.
So that's why that game got a 5. I mean, I gave it a 5 just because, it's playable. And it's a Resident Evil game.
Yeah, very, very average Resident Evil game.
Yeah, so that brings us to the end of all our lists. Thank you to everybody that sent in your list this year.
Yeah, and thank you to everyone for a great year. We hit 300 episodes a few weeks back, so we'll keep on. And yeah, I think this was a really fun year of podcasting and doing this show. We've had we got to do our traditional Pensacon panel earlier in the year. We've reviewed some fun stuff. Been a good year.
And coming up, Pensacon's going to be coming up again really soon, too. So if you're going to Pensacon this year, I think we're going to be doing another panel, which is a live show. And we may be bringing back some other great panels that we've done in the past.
Well, speaking of coming back, the Derek Diamond Experience is back. Yep, brought the show back actually today. Listed my top 5 movies of 2022. You can catch that out on all podcasting platforms now. I also kind of get into what you can expect from the show going forward. I won't take up a ton of time on this show doing that, but you can go listen to that. And then over the next couple of weeks, I'll be recording some episodes with the cast and crew of the feature to do behind the scenes look of that. So you've got your programming set for the show for a while. So just be sure to, if you unsubscribed, you can go resubscribe at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere you get your podcast. And you can follow the show on social media at D Diamond Podcast.
And last week we weren't here to do a regular episode, but Mr. Joey Image did join me on the show here to do a NCR news dump show, which is normally Patreon only. But I put it out for everyone to listen to because it was some pretty big news last week. If you're a Blizzard fan or a World of Warcraft player, the return of Chris Metzen. Me and Joey talked about it for about 30 minutes, and according to Wally, we splooged all over.
I saw that comment
about the guy, and and by the way, Joey says, by the way, our news dump episode was Metzen approved. He listened to it a few days later. That is awesome.
That's cool.
Yes,
that's really cool.
That makes me nervous that Chris Metzen actually listened to what I had to say. I don't like it. That makes me feel funny. Like he actually listened to my show. That's
really cool.
But yeah, it was a good episode. If you haven't listened to it yet or you skipped it because it's WoW centric and you're not a WoW fan, just go back and listen to it. It's a really good episode. Other than that, we got the Open Micers podcast with me and Mr. Jacob Craig over on @OpenMicers. We've got Derek coming up on the 9th of January to talk about feature presentation. I think this is your trifecta. I think this is your 3rd or 4th.
Yep. I think it's the 3rd.
Your third
the hat
time.
The hat trick.
The hat trick on Open Micers. So go follow the show @OpenMicers on Twitter and Instagram. And I haven't forgotten. We've gotten busy, and I didn't get a chance to do anything, but I still have Street Fighter on VHS that we're going to give away. And I think the simplest thing we can do for a contest is I want to get some more reviews out there. So go give us a review wherever you can, like at Apple Podcasts or wherever you can review the show. It doesn't have to be crazy. It doesn't have to be a novel. Just go and write, hey, I like this show. It's great. If you like games, go listen to it. Take a screenshot or whatever and send it to us. You can email it to us, nerdcaveretro@gmail.com, or send it to us on Discord or Twitter. You can DM us on Twitter, and we'll put everybody's name in a pot. And also, and Rampage says Spotify does do reviews and ratings now, so you can do it on Spotify. And if you've already done a review, which we do have some of our listeners, I think Armez Jackson did one. I think a couple other people did some reviews. I think Tyler did one a couple of years ago. I mean, they're years old that we've gotten some reviews from our regular loyal listeners. You guys are automatically in the contest, so you don't have to do anything. Or if you want to, go review it on another platform that you don't normally listen to the show. And just send it to us, and you'll automatically be in the show just to help get the word out there. And that's what I want to do. I want to grow the show more this year. We've kind of plateaued a little bit towards the end of the year with listenership. I mean, we got a lot of people, but I like more. I like people listening to the show. And to get us out there, I want more reviews, which pushes us to the front of the pages on Spotify and Apple and all those places. So please do that for us. And the winner, I will select the winner, and you will get this lovely copy of Street Fighter on VHS.
I mean, I'm right there with you. You know, people don't realize how important reviews are to podcasting. You know, I've had now to get back in the habit of saying it for my show is the more shows are reviewed, the more visible they are when you search for podcasts. So they are extremely helpful.
Or actually, if you've already done one for the show and you want to do another, go review the Derek Diamond Experience wherever.
Yep.
Send us a screenshot of that, and you'll be in the contest. Well, just go help us out. We both need it. We need
for sure.
We need the reviews. And Rampage says he needs a matching smoking jacket. I've been on the lookout for a smoking jacket that like that was in the movie, but those things are hard to find. Those don't really exist too much anymore.
If we ever find them, we have to wear them on the show with cigars.
And Farliston said in the chat room he got a Guar VHS for Christmas. If that's the one I'm thinking of that was released back in the 90s, that's a great VHS tape to own. I love Guar. They got that. They have a great documentary on Shudder too. If you are not, if you're subscribed to Shudder, go check out that Guar documentary they got on there. It's really good. But that's going to bring us to the end of the episode. Is there anything else we need to talk about before we leave tonight?
Nope, I think we're good.
And right before we go, I know we talked about the Patreon. The first of the month is coming up next week. That's a perfect time to jump back in. Or if you haven't ever been a Patreon subscriber, jump in the first of the month, and you'll get all the extra content that we do. And it helps the show out. It helps keep us going. You know, I just reviewed renewed all our .coms and everything today. So money goes out, and we need money coming in. So help us out a little bit over there at patreon.com/nerdcaveretro. So I'm going to go ahead, play this here. And if you would like to email us, please email us at nerdcaveretro@gmail.com. We are on Facebook at facebook.com/nerdcaveretro, Instagram and Twitter at nerdcaveretro, at jfunktastic, and at Derek_Diamond. And of course, you can just go to nerdcaveretro.com. That takes you to our link tree, and that will take you everywhere you need to go, including ncrmerch.com, where you can go and get t-shirts, mugs, hats, whatever you need, magnets, stickers. They're all there in our shop. And we also patreon.com/nerdcaveretro. And of course, leave us a review wherever fine podcasts are given away for free. So Derek, please tell them what it's all about.
May the way of the hero lead to the Triforce.
And Happy New Year!
Wise man say forgiveness is divine, but never pay full price for late pizza.
I have spoken.
And that concludes our 2022 broadcast. Yay. Another year under the belt. We're entering our 7th year, Derek.
Yeah, I was about to say, year 7.
I don't like it.
I say that as my knees ache.
Man, that really does blow my mind that Chris Metzen listened to the episode and approves the episode.
That's really cool.
That's crazy. That's awesome. Thank you, Joey, for telling him about the show and getting him to listen to it. And thank all you guys for hanging out tonight. I love a full house in the chat room. This is great.
Yeah, this was fun.
We do it every Monday, so be here.
Yeah.
At 6 p.m. Central every week, except for last week. But now, regularly, every week.
Yeah.
But thank you guys for hanging out with us. Hope you all have a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays, whatever you celebrate, and have a safe and happy New Year. Do not drink and drive. Call an Uber, call a Lyft, whatever you need. Call a friend to somebody to come pick you up if you can't drive. And thank you guys so much. We can't do this without you. We love you. We will see you in 2020.